The CFPB has reversed a settlement with Townstone Financial, a Chicago-based mortgage lender accused of discrimination. The 2020 lawsuit alleged discriminatory lending practices. The CFPB's decision has sparked controversy. Consumer advocates are alarmed, while industry groups applaud. This shift reflects the Trump administration's priorities. Critics argue the CFPB is failing to protect borrowers. The agency defends its actions as fair to businesses. The CFPB sued Townstone Financial for redlining, a discriminatory practice denying loans based on race. Townstone allegedly discouraged black borrowers and made fewer loans to them. The company settled with the CFPB for $105,000 in 2024. The CFPB's decision to vacate the Townstone settlement is highly unusual. Settlements are typically seen as final resolutions to legal disputes. In this case, the CFPB is essentially arguing that its own previous leadership made a mistake in settling with Townstone. The CFPB's current leadership, appointed by President Trump, has been critical of the agency's previous actions under the Obama administration. They argue that the CFPB was too aggressive in pursuing enforcement actions against businesses, and that this created an environment of uncertainty and fear for lenders. In the Townstone case, the CFPB now argues that the settlement was not in the best interests of the public. The agency claims that there was not enough evidence to support the allegations of discrimination, and that the settlement would have a chilling effect on free speech. This is because the CFPB had cited comments made by Townstone employees on their radio show as evidence of discrimination. The CFPB's decision to vacate the settlement has been met with mixed reactions. Consumer advocates have condemned the move, arguing that it sends a message that the Trump administration is not serious about enforcing fair lending laws. They worry that this will embolden other lenders to engage in discriminatory practices. The CFPB's actions in the Townstone case are part of a broader trend of deregulation and reduced enforcement under the Trump administration. Since taking office, President Trump has appointed officials who are seen as more sympathetic to the financial industry to key positions within the CFPB. This shift in leadership has led to a significant change in the agency's priorities. Under the Obama administration, the CFPB was seen as a watchdog for consumers, aggressively pursuing enforcement actions against banks and other financial institutions accused of wrongdoing. The agency brought a number of high-profile cases against major banks, resulting in billions of dollars in fines and restitution for consumers. However, under the Trump administration, the CFPB has taken a more hands-off approach to regulation. The agency has dropped a number of investigations into financial institutions and has delayed or weakened the implementation of new rules aimed at protecting consumers. This shift in approach has been welcomed by the financial industry, which had argued that the CFPB was too aggressive under the Obama administration. Consumer advocates have expressed alarm at the CFPB's change in direction. They argue that the agency is failing to fulfill its mission of protecting consumers from unfair, deceptive, or abusive practices by financial institutions. The CFPB's decision to vacate the Townstone settlement raises questions about the future of fair lending enforcement. The case highlights the ongoing debate over the role of the CFPB in policing discrimination in the financial marketplace. Consumer advocates argue that the CFPB plays a critical role in ensuring that all borrowers have equal access to credit, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or other protected characteristics. They point to the history of discrimination in lending and the persistence of racial disparities in access to credit as evidence of the need for a strong and active CFPB. The financial industry, on the other hand, argues that the CFPB should focus on preventing egregious cases of discrimination, rather than pursuing statistical disparities that may not reflect intentional bias. They argue that excessive regulation stifles innovation and makes it more difficult for lenders to serve borrowers of all backgrounds. The CFPB's decision in the Townstone case suggests that the agency is moving towards a more facts-based approach, not describing all differences in outcomes as racially motivated and a disparity. It remains to be seen how this will impact the CFPB's enforcement of fair lending laws in the years to come. However, the case serves as a reminder of the importance of vigilance in protecting consumers from discriminatory lending practices. Any feedback or personal experience, share in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Article link is in the description box below.